So hi everybody, so a couple months ago I attended a program called Tony Robbins Business Mastery where people paid more than $10,000 to learn, right? And so not only did I learn lots of different insights about marketing, sales, strategies and whatnot, the biggest lesson I learned, right, is that at the end of the day, right, business, right, we can learn all the best tactics and guides, right, and all the strategies, right, all around the world, but if we do not focus on the internal, right, if we don't actually master what's internal within us, right, our beliefs, our mindset, perspectives, chances are most of us will never succeed, right? So in this case, right, I'm going to share with you this very quick training, right, some of my best lessons, right, my strategies learned from Tony Robbins Business Mastery Program, right, and this is something that you can immediately use and apply for yourself. With that, enjoy this video training. Alright, so this is part 2, right, of our video of the 5th stage, right, and the next lesson is going to talk about what I call the 3 steps to breakthrough, right, and what folks paid up to USD, right, $10,000 to learn, right, and this program is called Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and I attended it back in about 2022 August, right, and one of the biggest things I got out, yes, they share a lot of business strategy and tactics, right, but one of the biggest things I got out, right, was the fact that your state, right, your mindset can really, right, impact the level of strategy, clarity, and direction, right, of your business, right, and what happened was, even before he shared any specific strategies or tactics, right, he got everyone to be in state, right, which is Tony Robbins' usual way, right, and from there, even I myself, right, was so much more resourceful, so much more creative, right, and I was so much clearer about what I actually wanted to achieve for my business, right, and the strategies to get there, even before I shared a single tactic. And so this is the part of the lesson I want to share with you, right, which is the 3 steps he mentioned one must have to succeed, right, is to simply master or to get good at these 3 things. So number 1, right, is what he calls strategy, right, and you can, again, right, I think he talks about success modeling, the part 1, right, what I talked about. You can either choose to figure out yourself or model what already have people done, right, and so take note, right, that everything in life is figure-outable, right, all you have to do is have faith and keep taking action, right, but one thing to note, right, what Robin said, and this is something I agree with, which is strategy is about 20% of what is truly needed to succeed, and psychology is just about 80% actually. So even the best strategy in the world, right, doesn't mean you succeed, right, and so you want to work on your psychology, and that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this training. So next one is state. Alright, talks about state, right? And if you've learned from Tony Robbins, you realize that state management is one of the most famous lessons, right? And there's a good reason for it because it's freaking powerful. So state just refers to how you're feeling right now, what's the energy being the situation, right? Maybe your thoughts, right? Your emotions, your actions, right? But note that you can influence your own state as well, and simply with the use of 3 things, right? Your focus, where you're focusing, your physiology and language. I'll just put an article here, right? Just for you to refer to, right? And so one thing about physiology, right, is that, alright, the movement you create, right, can create your state. So before you, let's say you go for a great presentation, right, a sales pitch, right, or to create a guide like what I'm doing right now, right, you can actually do something to manage your state, your action, right, to get yourself in the prime optimal state so you can do the best work that's possible. So a few things to know, right, is maybe you can go for a cold shower, you can do some mini exercises, jumping jacks, right, push-ups if you want to. And one of the best things I learned, right, you can just check it out over here. I got it from Brandon Burchard as well. You can do what I call tapping, right, and some people say qigong as well, right, to just activate the blood flow to get your energy to move a bit further. So these are some things you can do, right, to activate your energy, right, as well. Next one, focus. So focus, right, is simply what I choose to be aware and thinking about, right? So one of the best things I learned, right, and this is based on one of my head coaches, right, so this time the video, right, why to share about this, right, is do deep breathing, music, grounding, right, to really help you out. And these are 3 key steps, right? Number 1 is, right, when you close your eyes, right, you do a bit of mindful breathing, right? Before even that, you just set intention, right? What do you actually want to feel, or what do you want your state to be in the first place? Is it peaceful? Is it creative? Is it excited? Is it calm? Is it just connection? Is it feel inspired? Like, what's the intention, right? Just really stare and just think about what do you want. And then number 2, right, is you can do a bit of deep breaths, right, about it. So I like box breathing when I'm trying to calm down, to be a bit more grounded. I like Wim Hof breathing, right, when I'm trying to be a bit more energetic, right? So you can check it out, right? And you're also going to listen to my inspiration music playlist on YouTube right here over the link as well. So while doing so, you can ask yourself what in your head, empowering questions like, what's truly important, right, moving forward? What am I grateful for today, right? If I wasn't fearful, why would I be doing that? What am I working so hard for? So some of the questions you can ask yourself when doing deep breaths will be very powerful, right? As you're following the video over here or through my playlist over here. Okay? And the next question, right, is, okay, right, you can journal, right, whatever you're feeling, right, and what do you want, right, so you can really move forward, right, and this is one of the easiest 3-step methods you can do, right, to help out as well, right? Set your intention, a lot of deep breaths, and write down, right, what you're feeling and what do you want to feel moving forward. This helps to calm yourself down, and all this takes about 5 to 10 minutes maximum. Very powerful. Okay, and the next thing, right, is what we call language, right? So the words you use, again, right, I think I shared in part 1, right, the words you use have a very powerful impact about your own personal mindset, your own personal state as well. So for example, right, whenever I make a mistake for my business, my life, right, I always ask myself, this is just words that's easy to use. Would I rather make the mistake right now or make a mistake later? right? Because I made a mistake right now, I have probably less commitments, maybe a bit more energy, I have less to lose when I'm starting out, versus 10, 20 years later, maybe when I'm managing a 7-figure portfolio, when I have more commitments, I have people to take care of, I have more to lose. Would I rather make mistakes now, or rather make mistakes later? And I start feeling grateful for the fact I'm making mistakes right now, so I can learn from them, so I don't repeat them in the future when things are worth more as well. Okay, there's also another video here. I recommend all my clients to watch it as well. So I'm just sharing with you also, right? Just to see how you can speak to yourself even further, more resourcefully, right? When it comes to failures or challenges. Powerful video, right? And either way, all remember the word again. All remember is just your words have tremendous power. Okay, so we went through strategy, we went through state, and the third key to breakthrough, right, is what Tony Robbins calls story. Right, so this, in other words, this just means the beliefs you have adopted in life. And one of my favorite entrepreneurs, right, and people I've followed, right, is that he will pay any amount of money to correct the beliefs he holds, that might be conscious or not, that just isn't true. Because why? Your beliefs, right, are usually the reason why you don't succeed. That's preventing you from taking action you need, right, to really move forward. So this is because many of us are conditioned from young to adopt beliefs that serve to protect us, but not for success and fulfillment. So remember, there's a lack of clarity and awareness of beliefs over any situation. It tends to default what I call the worst case scenario. So the less clarity you have over a certain belief, right, especially what I call the worst case scenario, right, you start realizing that you take a lot of survival based actions, right, you're not very empowering, you don't take courage, you tend to retreat instead of moving forward, right. And so that's why in things, areas like quitting a job, starting a business, right, it feels very scary. If you're not very clear as a worst case scenario, right, you just tend not to do it. So one of the most powerful things I would recommend anyone to do who's feeling a bit of fearful in terms of big decision is to do what I call the Tim Ferriss fear setting exercise. You can check it out. Okay, so at the same time, this is my personal quick 4-step process to overcome limiting beliefs, right? But of course, right, please, disclaimer, right, if you face anything to do with more inner things like trauma, right, or psychological, right, in terms of more medically struggles, right, please go and check with someone, right, please talk to someone, right, because this is not a cure for that. Okay, so with that, let's move forward. So step number 1, right, is to acknowledge the importance of the limiting belief. So first you have to ask yourself, right, what's the purpose of the limiting belief in the first place? What has it helped you to overcome, or what has it helped you to achieve, right, by you having a limiting belief? And come from a space of gratitude, right, be thankful for limiting belief, right? Whether is it being afraid that you lose your job, right? Because why? He wants to protect you, right? Because why? Maybe you still have a family to take care of. Maybe you still want to take care of a family, right? Maybe because you don't want to be a burden, right? So acknowledge the importance of limiting belief, right? Like, why do you think you have the belief in the first place? If you're serving, right, your body, right, your mind in a certain way, what is it for? And remember, you don't have to feel bad or frustrated about it, because why? Right, at the end of the day, right, any belief can be limiting or empowering, right, based on the context, based on situation. So you feeling afraid, right, that you will leave or quit your job, right, actually serves you in a certain way so that you don't lose out. So number 1, right, it always depends on the context, not situation, right? So for example, right, let's say everyone says that we should respect our parents, right? And we should not shout at them. But what happens if your parent, right, is falling, maybe his heart rate is slowing down, right? It's actually very dangerous if he doesn't go to the doctor and still refuses to do it. Will you still want to talk to your parents softly there? No, you probably want to be very direct, right? Just say, hey, let's go, let's freaking go, right? And respect throws out the window was why the life of your parents will be more important, right? So think note of it, right? It's not about whether the belief is limiting or not, right? It's about, right, the situation, right? And the biggest question is, when should we address or challenge them? Is when it doesn't serve you, right, in one way or another. Okay, so step number 2, right, what you do is write down, reflect on the limiting beliefs that you have, right, about a topic. So you're gonna ask yourself why, right, don't you actually don't believe in it, right? So remember, right, to be a bit more grounded when you write down, right, so write down all these limiting beliefs, right, to go elaborate a little bit further, right? Like, hey, if I quit my job, right, I'm very scared, right? I cannot take care of my family, right? I will be in debt, right? I will have to take a part-time job which sucks. My friends might make fun of me. Like, why are you so afraid of that? Why are you afraid of happening in the first place? Okay, right? So for you, right, to be a bit more grounded as well. And then next thing, right, you can ask yourself to start questioning the belief literally. So remember, right, the only way to believe something is not question it, because you can start questioning by asking yourself some questions, right? And these are just 3 quick questions, right? Is this belief, right, where if you quit your job, right, you will have no income for the next 6 months, necessarily true? Could this be a misinterpretation or misperception, right? Do you have all possible information that if you quit your job right now, you'll never have an opportunity, right, to find back another job? Are you sure you cannot find another job? Right? Next one. What do you feel, experience, and become like when you behave, right, this way? Do you want to be like this forever? Do you always want to come from a space of, I'm always going to be afraid, I'm always going to be coming from a space of survival, I'm always coming from a space of fear? Do you want it? Right? So next thing on the right, what's the fear, what's the struggle if you continue having that belief? Right? Is this something that you really want? On the other hand, right, how would you feel, behave, experience life like, right, if that thought didn't exist, if that belief didn't stop you, right? You live a life of more courage, right? You live a life, right, where things are a lot more possible, right, more fulfilling, right, a bit scary, right, but powerful as well, right? And hey, you need to feel the joy, inspiration when doing this to trigger the desire, right, for the next step. And so the more you start questioning the belief, right, in terms of whether is it true in the first place, this is a very powerful one, right? The pain of you continuing that belief, right, and not changing it, and the benefits of you continuing, right, to have that new belief. Very powerful exercise you can use, right, on your own end. Okay? And then, right, you come from a great space, right, to turn around those limiting beliefs. Right? So what could be a more empowering belief, right, instead? Hey, maybe, right, I don't have to quit my job immediately, but I can try to find other roles, right, maybe as a part-time thing, right, to buy me a bit of time before I move forward with my new job. Alright, so the different ways to build my priority. So again, you don't have to completely change it, right? If you don't really believe it wholesale, make sure it's something that you can feel, okay, I think it's worth believing it, right? And, right, the more you do it, right, the more you get feedback, right, the more powerful it is for you. Okay, right, and another question is, how can you take responsibility and ownership moving forward? Right, so again, right, what are the actions you can take to remove that worst case scenario from happening, to remove that biggest fear happening, right? Very powerful strategy you can use for yourself. Okay, all right, and so with that, right, besides this actual exercise, these are 4 quick ways you can do, right, to develop more empowering beliefs or to reduce disempowering ones. Number 1, right, if you change your environment, right, talk to more people, right, the people hang out with, right, social media, emails, who are you following, who are you reading, right? The more you follow people that are more aligned to who you want to be, right, that you aspire towards, inspired by, right, the more powerful your beliefs could be. Number 2, right, can you actually attend experiential events or programs, right? One thing I do, right, is I attend many experiential programs, right, like UPW, right, like Asia Works, right, like Stewart's program, right, so that I can really change my beliefs and rewire them on an immersive level as well. Very powerful, right? Next one, visualization, right? So again, right, I can do a bit of mindfulness, right, a bit of visualization, right, about how would life be like if I really, right, were able to achieve what I want to. And the more you visualize it, the more likely you'll be able to achieve and to go towards the outcome instead of coming from the space of fear. Positive visualization. And the last one is, of course, knowledge, right? Reading books, courses, workshops, expanding a worldview, expanding a possibility, expanding your mindset, right? And the more you expand your knowledge, right, the more possible whatever action you're trying to take, right, could be possible for you. So these are 4 very powerful but quick ways to develop empowering beliefs in your life. The next thing, right, is to serve you even better, right, I've actually attached an amazing resource that compiles, right, the most powerful beliefs I've ever adopted, right, and I only previously shared my private clients, right, but it's really a manifesto of what I've created on what it means to be a master implementer, and I guarantee you, right, some of my clients have done that. If you read it every day for the next 30 days, right, and you come to adopt it, right, you realize there'll be some positive changes you can experience in your everyday life as well. Okay, so again, right, if you need any help, right, with addressing some of your limiting beliefs, right, to do the fear setting exercise, for example, to develop, right, all your 4, right, different ways to develop empowering beliefs, you can always apply to speak of our team here. We do support you with that as well, besides designing your entire high income blueprint to achieve your desired income and lifestyle also. Alright, so this part of the video, I hope you enjoyed it, right, I'll see you in the next video as well.